Hey, this is Steve. I want to do a quick video today on how my mother beat terminal cancer. And, the lessons she learned, she passed on to me, and I've passed them on to a lot of other people. And I see all the time people dealing with major health issues. And the couple simple principles my mom used to um, win her battle are applicable to a lot of other people. So, um, just a disclaimer, this story is going to have a lot of spiritual principles in it too. So if that's not what you're looking for, just stop the video now. But what my mom experienced is that she went to the doctor, and the doctor said, well, you have breast lymphatic and uterine cancer. If you don't do exactly what I tell you to do, you'll be dead in 6 months. So one thing to realize is that whatever you're going through, a lot of healthcare practitioners will put a lot of pressure on you to obey them without questioning. And my first piece of advice is you gotta take personal responsibility for your health. Everybody's different. You need to know what works for you. So my mom walked into the nearest church and she prayed this. She goes, God, what do I do for my situation? Okay. And she did a couple things. One, she did not tell anybody except my dad that she had cancer. Not my sisters who were in college, not me, nobody. She said, I had enough faith that God was going to heal me without everyone else believing that I was going to die. So, one principle to understand is that if you're dealing with a real serious health challenge, and if it's a life threatening health challenge, you may have to remove, even at the cost of offending all the people in your life who aren't, shall we say, a positive influence, right? The people who are freaking out, who are afraid that you're going to die, who are putting pressure on you, who are negative, you know what? Kick them out of your life till you survive, and then kiss and make up later and say you're sorry. But literally, your life could depend on it. So the second thing she did is she really felt that she was supposed to buy a book called One Answer to Cancer by Dr. William Kelly. And she did a very aggressive nutritional approach. Now, let me just say up front, I'm not a fan of chemo or radiation or anything else, but I'm also not a fan of blindly avoiding all that. I would say one mistake people make is that they will occasionally try and do an exclusively holistic nutritional approach. The problem with that is though that you have to have a functioning immune system for that stuff to work with, and occasionally, you know what, you're gonna have to do some alternative nasty therapies. Again, not a fan of it at all. All right. But you need to find out what you're supposed to do, not what everyone else is putting pressure on you, because natural practitioners will put the same type of pressure on you as standard medical doctors will. So she got very aggressive about this nutritional approach, cleaned up her diet, all that. I do remember at the time, even though I didn't know she had cancer, that she was swallowing a lot of pills at the time. And while she was doing that, she really worked on building up her faith that God would heal her. And one book that she felt probably saved her life was Christ the Healer by someone named F. Bosworth. That's just two initials, FF, like Frank, and then Bosworth. She would say that book probably saved her life. Probably one of the most thorough books I've read on any subject. Highly recommend it, especially if you're dealing with some major health challenge. So in doing that, one of the things she did is she got real honest with herself about what she actually believed. If you have any experience in this area where, Christians are believing God for healing, a lot of times they will just, the term is name it and claim it, but which is not technically a bad thing, but there will be pressure on you to believe that all of the cancer is gone right now, right? And in starting down that path, she said, I'm not really sure that I believe that. In other words, I'm not sure I'm actually in faith for that. So she asked herself, well, what am I in faith for? And she realized, what? I can believe for. I can believe two cells. I can visualize and believe for two cancer cells at a time, continually healing. She goes, that I will believe. So another lesson is don't let people practicing spiritual principles put pressure on you to act or look a certain way just to keep them happy. Be pretty honest and accurate about really where you're at. And if you want to know if you're in faith, check how much joy and peace you have. It will give you an instant indicator. So she believed that way. Basically, the nutrition, I think, kept her alive while her faith really built. And one day, they were at a church service, and someone, again, keep in mind, she did not tell anyone she had cancer. Someone at church came up to her and said, Kathy, while we were sitting here praying, I saw an angel come and take something out of your body. And at that point, she goes, all the symptoms left her. But she said one thing that she noticed is sometimes the symptoms would start coming back occasionally, and it didn't seem to stick. And she wasn't sure why until one day she really realized that she had a lot of unforgiveness towards her stepmom. And when she resolved that, it stuck. She kept her healing. So another lesson is often different diseases can, I'm not making absolute, can, not always, but can very often have emotional components to them. Personally, I've found a lot of people dealing with cancer can, not making absolute, have a lot of bitterness and unforgiveness as they're dealing with that. So big lesson is, the more love you walk in and unforgiveness, the better chance you have of making it through whatever you're going through. And so then one last thing she did is after she's better, she really, they were kind of pretty strict about eating well and investing in their health. And she really kind of asked God, do I have to keep on with this nutritional thing? And she says the answer she got back was, and she goes, just thoughts come to you, and you realize it's God, because it definitely wasn't you thinking that. And the answer she got was, well, if you get hit by a truck, don't go back out in the middle of the road. And she goes, fair enough. Can't argue with that. So again, to recap a couple basic lessons: don't make decisions when you're under pressure or in fear. You will probably make a poor decision. Number two, be very careful about the environment that you're in and the people you surround yourself with. Make sure the people who have access to you and influence over you are positive people who believe you're going to beat this. Number three, often the natural and the supernatural combine synergistically. Number four, make sure you get rid of all the spiritual baggage and unforgiveness and bitterness and all that junk. It's no good, and it often creates a place in your life for illness to come into your body. And number five, was that number four? Number five, anyways, use common sense. If you don't want to get sick, take good care of yourself. Invest in wellness. Anyways, hope that's helpful. If you need some advice or some coaching, or you're like, that sounds great, but I've got major unforgiveness I can't get rid of, give me a call and feel free to ask me some questions, and I'm happy to do some coaching for you to help you work through all that stuff. Anyways, hope this helps you. If you have any questions on what type of supplementations I would recommend if you're in a serious situation like that, happy to do that as well. And if this is helpful, please share it. You may save somebody's life in doing it. Thanks.